Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to Full Throttle Drive. Thank you, as always, for joining me on the channel. Before we jump into today's topic, I just want to again say thank you. I know I thanked you guys last video, but we just hit over 1,000 subscribers, and honestly, I cannot express the gratitude I have for you guys and all of your support for my channel. It truly is overwhelming, and I cannot, I can't express how thankful I am. I really couldn't do it without you guys. And that's true. You hear a lot of YouTubers say that, but it's honestly the truth. You can't do it without your subscribers, and it's not just about having subscribers. It's about the engagement that you guys have with my channel, the comments, talking about everything that I have to talk about and conversing back and forth. That interaction is just it's incredible, and I truly can't thank you guys enough. So the best I could do is just say thank you multiple times. So I truly appreciate it. Very excited to see where this channel will go in the future. But yeah, again, I wanted to thank you guys so much. Now, on to today's topic. We are going to talk about probably a topic that is going to cause quite a bit of ruckus, a little bit of a stir with you guys, because I honestly, I'm just reiterating what I've read to you guys. That's part of my enjoyment, is going out and collecting this information and reiterating it to you guys. And it's of course about the C8 Corvette. I've pretty much done all videos on that because you guys have truly enjoyed it. I've gotten a ton of engagement out of it. And again, with me trying to purchase a C8 Corvette here as soon as possible, whenever it debuts, I'm going to try and put a down payment on it. Try and get one of the first ones. I know buying a first-year GM is probably never the smartest, but to be able to share that with you guys on the channel would be incredible, and I think it's going to be an amazing vehicle. I'm gonna bet on this car. But we read, or I should say, I read some information online that I want to share with you guys and see what you guys think. I want to hear the thoughts you guys have on this, especially any of you guys that have any more information to divulge on this topic. And that is, there's an individual that gave a little bit of an interview talking about his interaction with the C8 Corvette at the Nurburgring. And he actually alluded to it breaking 7 minutes. Now, before we go any further, I want to say how huge of a deal this is, and also why it's going to lead to so much skepticism, because it makes sense. A car like the C8 Corvette to break 7 minutes isn't just a incredible feat. It almost is, to me, what it would seem like an impossible feat. But nothing, again, is impossible. But I wanted to see, again, what you guys have to think about this. I'm going to read you what the gentleman wrote about his interaction with the C8 Corvette while he was there. I'm going to read directly from it. And he said, "I was there with my stopwatch when the mid-engine Corvette prototype turned its first lap at the ring. And then he said there's more to the story than minutes and seconds." He's not, and you'll see he's not a huge believer in that the Nurburgring time is everything, but we'll see. And of course, this is Nurburgring, Germany. It's where the ring is, so they call it the Nurburgring. And he's saying it was shortly after 5:30. He was on his VW T4 Caravelle. He said it's like a VW or Euro van for our lingo. And he had just done some testing for the day, and he was there to watch a little bit of a private session, hence the C8 Corvette prototype. And he said the sun was setting, iconic black castle in the background, and you'll see some pictures here I'm going to include talking about it. And he said it was very warm, and he was enjoying the day watching it. And there's over a mile long kind of ending point to the ring. And he's talking about how he got actually his timer out and was able to record a hot lap. And so I'm going to read that a little bit to you. He said through the heat haze, he could see the LED lights approaching of the mid-engine C8 Corvette. Now, I've said this before. I think the LED lights are going to be different. I think he took notice to the LED lights because I think they don't just look like a C7. I love the C7 lights. I think they're changing it up again. That's just completely my speculation, but from what I've seen, and they could change it right back over to what this C7 looks like. It could just be their prototype headlights for now, but I think it might be different, but very cool little aspect. He said, I've got the one finger hovering over the stopwatch app on my phone when the big V8 covers the distance incredibly quick. So he can hear that V8. So again, a little bit more of the confirmation that's probably going to be a V8 in the C8 Corvette. The intake noise of the engine changes note as the Vette climbs the long hill towards the, I'm going to say the bridge. He has a name for it. I have no idea how to pronounce it. He's watching from it. He says, this is a fast one. I know it. And then he says, just as I'm about to stab the button, because again, it's about to make its hot lap final. It's coming up that straight. If you're not familiar with the last straight, this is where cars really pick up some speed as they finish up their lap at the Nurburgring. He said his phone buzzes. The screen is unresponsive. A call is incoming. He had just enough time to send it to voicemail and flick back to his stopwatch app. He glances at the timer just as the C8 roars underneath the bridge. He says vibrations of 185-mile-an-hour flyby spread through the concrete structure as an errant aftershock. He's there. He's familiar with what these cars are capable of. This Dave Lomas, from what I've read, he could be not telling the truth, and we'll get to that in a little bit. But he's aware of what these cars are capable of, how fast cars are moving at certain parts of the track. He probably knows what 185-mile-an-hour flyby looks like at this portion of the track. So he's probably privy on that. Very interested to see. That's a very fast vehicle, very, very quick. He said under the bridge, around the blind left, the Corvette driver is still flat out. A good sign he's trying hard. So this isn't just a prototype lap, easy lap around the ring. He's doing a hot lap. He's really going for a good time here. This gentleman just happens to be there with a stopwatch. He says seconds later, out of sight, the roar of the V8 dies suddenly. So as it crosses the finish line, he said, I stopped the second timer. I look again. It's not a lap record. It's not even close. Now, one thing I want to talk about lap records. For any of you guys not familiar, and I'm sure most of you are, but to break 7 minutes, which is what he kind of has alluded to, is just this incredible feat. To give you an example, I'm going to actually list off some of the fastest Nurburgring times. Breaking 7 minutes, the original Lamborghini Aventador broke at 6 minutes 59 seconds. A Porsche 918 Spider at 6 minutes 57. That's a Porsche 918 Spider, the hybrid supercar. The new Porsche 911 GT2 RS did it in 6 minutes 47 seconds. That was spectacular. But the reigning champ still is the Lamborghini Aventador, the SVJ. And that was just this summer, and it was at 6 minutes 44.97 seconds. Very, very incredible feat. That is just incredibly fast. That is so fast. A couple of the other items or cars are the Radical series cars. Those are very, very quick as well. But the SVJ still holds the fastest hot lap. And so one thing I want to make note of is he mentions that it's not even close to a course record. But the thing is even if he was 10 seconds off, and 1 second in track time is extremely long. It's like, 10 seconds would be like hours in racing. But 10 seconds would still be a sub 7 minute time. I mean, you're looking at 6:44 at 10 seconds, 6:54. 6:54 out of the C8 Corvette. And remember, this is the base. This isn't the higher variants that will be coming out. That would be incredible. This is where I want to heed caution, because I'm not trying to bring up this rumor mill. I am simply expressing what I've read and maybe giving you some insight of what I think. But everybody needs to take this with a grain of salt and take their own consideration into it. But I have a hard time believing this car truly is going to break 7 minutes. Again, that feat is just incredible. I think it's going to be very, very fast. I think it might be close to that 7 minutes for breaking it. And I have some reasoning before that. But he says right after this, I want to come back to what he said. He said, it's certainly not the first American supercar to go under 7 minutes. That's all I really need to know. It's all anybody needs to know. So he's alluding to that it was under 7 minutes, I believe. But then he says it's not the first American supercar. Guys, this is where I need your help. I am not familiar with a American supercar that has gone under 7 minutes. I know the Ford GT was very fast. I couldn't find a true lap time that I'm aware of that's a production. I would think the Ford GT would probably be the closest to breaking 7 minutes if it had. But he's saying it's certainly not the first American supercar. So unless he's talking about that, I don't know what else he'd be talking about. But I'm not sure. He says, in fact, the lifetime is so far off the new record that if I were to write it down here, I'd probably incur a couple of half-hearted internet forum death threats over dozens of flame and, I don't know, insults, hundreds of insults. Very interesting. So he's alluding that it's under 7 minutes, but that it's so far off the lap time. So I don't know if he's saying that it's capable. I'm wondering if he's saying he thinks it's capable, but what he saw was not a sub 7 minute. I don't know. This is where it gets really hazy and where, again, you got to take that grain of salt on everything that we hear. Very, very interesting. But remember, guys, this is the base C8. As I just said, there's going to be other variants. We've heard this base C8 may be the 5 to 550. Well, we could see like a Z06 version. We've heard of this 3-step variations of one that might be 7 to 750 with maybe a supercharger or turbocharged V8, and then even a hybrid supercar that could be up to that 900,000 horsepower. I don't know. If they really want to contend with the supercar, hypercars, that's where they're going to have to go. We have never seen that before. And that's why we get a lot of skepticism and criticism, because we've never seen this before. But guys, remember, we haven't seen this platform before either. Chevy, GM, they are able to push the bounds of what this car is capable of now. Will that push the price tag? Absolutely. But if this base comes in under 100 grand, and I made a video talking about it, 75 grand, to get anywhere near that 7-minute mark on the Nurburgring would be incredible, especially at that price point. We cannot forget that. Very, very interesting to see what they will be able to do at that price point, because I think they're going to stay there. One thing I want to note is I read this earlier on a forum. And we know that the Z06 didn't have an official time at the Nürburgring, but it did put out like a 7-minute, 13-second time, which is very respectable. A lot of people thought it should be under 7 minutes. They say a lot got left on the table, but even if it was under 7 minutes, 10 seconds, that's a very, very quick car. To give you an example, the ACR, the Viper ACR, which is just a track animal, it did the Nürburgring in 2017 at 7 minutes, 1 second. Incredibly respectable, but even it didn't break 7 minutes. That's kind of where I think, all right, here you have the ACR that wasn't even capable of breaking 7 minutes. Can a base C8 Corvette, even with all this new technology, dual clutch transmission, probably an upgraded suspension, all these mechanics, can it really do that? Now, another thing you guys got to take into consideration is how much they could shave off, and that's where I was coming with the Z06. Did 713 unofficially, but let's say 710 to 713 is capable. There's a lot of people that said that they should see a 10-second shave off on their times for the new C8 Corvette, and there's a huge reasoning for that, and we've talked about it. It's because the change from the front engine to the mid-engine is not just about acceleration. It's all about the handling and about the turn-in speeds. It's not about the acceleration, really. The braking and turning capabilities of this new C8 Corvette are going to be incredible. That's where it's going to make up a ton of time. It really doesn't need to be that much faster in acceleration. Of course, that helps, but to push another 10 seconds is highly capable out of a car changing this type of platform change. So we'll see. That's something you want to take into consideration when saying, where could this be? Well, if the Z06 did do the 7 minute, 13 seconds, maybe 703 isn't completely out of the question for this car. Now, it will be lacking horsepower, so we may have to make up some ground there. I don't think it's going to be 650 horsepower, but we'll see. We'll see what ends up coming out, but very, very interested to see. We're seeing more renders each day. You saw it in my thumbnail. You're seeing some of the pictures of the C8 also around the Nürburgring. We're getting more and more information every single day. But this really caught my attention because I'm really excited to see what this car is capable of. And if it's a track animal, like a lot of people are thinking it could be, that will be very, very exciting. I would love to track my car when I get it. I've never gotten to really do a tracking experience. My biggest thing with tracking the R8, and I know a lot of people say, oh, you want to garage queen it. Well, I drive it all the time. The problem is the car isn't under warranty, and to track that car, if something happened to the engine, would be catastrophic. If it had major engine failure because I was tracking it hard, I'm out tens of thousands. I've told you, probably 25 grand plus labor. That would be huge. I would love to have a car under warranty that they say you could track this car and we'll, we will cover any effects that happen if the, drivetrain, anything, the engine was to fail. That would be huge. I would totally track this car if I purchased it and they allowed that, especially if it had these capabilities. So very, very excited for that. But guys, like I said, I wanted to share this with you guys. I want to converse, see what you guys have. If any of you guys have any more information, things you want to add to this, comments, concerns, put them in the comments below. That's what it's for. This community I'm trying to build through my YouTube channel is all about conversation. Everybody needs to be respectful. I want to be respectful. I'm not trying to push this rumor mill on you guys with false information. It's just something I'm reading. And this Dale Lomas, he certainly has some clout. Some people have said, hey, look, this guy knows what he's talking about. So very, very interested to see what what he said versus what the reality is in the future. We're going to continue to get more information, especially as the prototype spends more time at the ring. We will see. But again, very, very exciting news. I think it's no secret that this car is going to be very, very capable. Just how capable is the $1 million question. We will see. But guys, thank you so much. Again, comments below. Let me know if you found this interesting, if you enjoyed this, if you liked the new renders. They look very cool. Hit that like button. Subscribe below if you have not already subscribed. If you have, thank you again so much for the support. As always, you take care, and I'll see you next video.